Hey guys, today in social studies, we're going to be talking about three different types of communities: urban, suburban, and rural communities. Now, the first thing that I want to make sure that you have done is watch the video types of communities. That's going to give you lots of important information. Now, if you've watched the video, you will already know that the first type of community that it talks about is urban. Now, an urban community would be like Wichita Falls. It's a city, so it's going to have very tall buildings that are close together. It may have people that are living very close together in homes or apartments. There's going to be a lot of public transportation like buses and taxis. The next type of community that it talks about is a suburban community. A suburban community would be Iowa Park. It's going to be a small town with neighborhoods and homes where people live. There's going to be schools and shops. The next type of community that it talks about is a rural community. A rural community could be considered in the country. So towns around us like Electra, Holiday might be considered rural communities because the homes are going to be very spread apart. They're going to be far away from each other. There's going to be lots of grasslands for farming, crops, and ranching for animals. So after you watch the video, you're going to come down to the questions. With the questions, I have included a picture. So the picture will give you some clues to help you answer the question. There's going to be a scenario. And when you read the scenario, you're going to choose if this is an urban, suburban, or rural community. So we're going to start with number one. Remember that if you need to go back and refer to the video at any time, you can always go back and rewatch it. Number one, when Greg goes to work, he cleans the windows on tall skyscrapers. His job is not meant for people who are afraid of high places. Greg works in a blank community. So again, you'll come to choose and you'll decide, is this an urban, suburban, or rural community? Number two, Sarah owns a dairy farm. She has 3 dozen cows that she has to feed and care for. Every day she milks the cows and sells the milk to supermarkets all over her state. Sarah works in a blank community: urban, suburban, or rural. Number three, Jessie is a police officer. She patrols a small town with small shops and one-story houses. She helps keep everyone in town safe and sound. Jessie works in a blank community: urban, suburban, or rural. Number four, every morning Derek wakes up and goes to work at a farm equipment dealership. He sells tractors, machines for watering crops, and machines for harvesting crops. Derek works in a blank community: urban, suburban, rural. Number five, many people that live near Brent don't drive cars because the streets are too busy. Brent drives a bus that hundreds of people use to travel quickly across the city. Brent lives and works in a blank community: urban, suburban, rural. Down at the bottom, we also have a bonus question. For 5 extra points, what type of community is Iowa Park? Urban, suburban, or rural? Don't forget to hit the submit button down at the bottom. And remember that you can go back and view the video anytime that you need to.